YouTube, and welcome to Turmoil in the Toybox. I'm your host, Aaron Hauser, and today we'll be reviewing NECA's Cult Classics Dawn of the Dead series. This was part of 3 different series from the Cult Classics line. The Hare Krishna Zombie was from Series 6, I believe. The Plaid Zombie was from Series 4, and the Flyboy Zombie, on the far right, was from Series 3. They're all very cool figures, and I'll kind of go through and show you some of the pros and cons and details of each of the figures now. We'll start off with the Plaid Zombie. Very minimalistic figure. It doesn't have a whole lot of articulation to it. There's a rotation at the wrists, ball joint on this side for the shoulder. This one just kind of rotates back and forth on this arm. The head is on a very tight ball joint at the base of the neck. There is some rotation at the waist, but it's kind of stiff on this one. And then there's not a whole lot of rotation at the ankles. It does come with this cool base. As you can see, it has some brain fragments there. And then the detailing on this, we'll pull this back a little. You can take a look at that. It's kind of cool. He's got his eyeball hanging out there. Some of the decayed flesh up front. Spinning it around here. Like I said, there's not a whole lot of, wow factor to this figure, but it's still very cool looking as part of the entire collection. It fits on its base nicely. It doesn't really shake a whole lot, which is nice. But it's a very cool figure, and it's a good start for the Dawn of the Dead series. So, next up we'll do the Hare Krishna Zombie. This one I have some real problems with. It's a very cool figure, and it comes with several different accessories. It comes with the base, and then it comes with these boxes. Now, I actually took some double-sided tape and kind of stacked these boxes just for display, but you can do whatever you want with them. It has this kind of fragile, we'll see if we can set him there, it has this fragile light that's kind of sitting on the base there, which feels like it could break off fairly easily. But this figure has a lot of really cool detail. Kind of spinning around there. He's got his tambourine on the side there. He's got articulation in the shoulders, flexes in and out a little. Rotation at the wrists, which is very stiff on this figure, I've noticed. There's rotation at the... it's kind of at the upper thigh, really, because this whole top piece is completely solid. And then at the head, it's on a very tight ball joint that doesn't have a lot of articulation to it. Now, this figure comes with detachable glasses. And the glasses are a very necessary piece of this figure, but I've noticed with some of the older NECA figures, for some reason they just made it so that the glasses come off, and these things are incredibly fucking fragile. So what I had to do was, my fiance is actually, she's a dental technician, and she went in and kind of grafted these to the figure's head, and she did a very good job, I might add. But it kind of helps if you can take some construction or crazy glue and kind of attach the glasses to the head, because when I received this figure in the package, before I even opened it, the glasses were broken in a portion here and I want to say here. But after my fiance was able to put it back together, that kind of made it look a lot nicer for display. So yeah, just keep that in mind if you do get this figure. It's a really good idea to try to glue those glasses on, just to kind of make it look a little nicer. He fits on the base. This one actually you don't have to put both of his feet on. It's just the single peg. So he kind of just clicks in there. And he's not incredibly wobbly. He does a fairly good job standing up. So that's about it for his features. We'll go over to the most notorious figure from this series, which is the Flyboy Zombie. This one's probably the hardest to find out of the set. And I have heard all sorts of reviews for this figure. I've seen a lot of people just destroy because they hate the articulation on it, or they couldn't get it to stay on the base. I had no problems with that, to be completely honest. I just posed him the exact same way it shows him on the box, and the way he is in the movie. In the film, his foot kind of turns in like this when he's walking. He kind of just drags it. So that's, you know, how I put him on the base. And it's got a very long peg on this base so that you can easily stick it in his heel like this. And he just stands. He doesn't really wobble a whole lot either. The way his foot is positioned holds him up quite nicely. So if you see any of those reviews where people just for some reason can't get the figure to stay up, it's completely doable. So there's no need to worry about that. But this is definitely my favorite of this set. It comes with a very cool base. I always love the zombie figures that come with these little, you know, half-eaten bodies and shit like that. But this one's very cool. It's got kind of money scattered across the floor. There's some makeup. There's a huge pool of blood and half-eaten character there, which is cool. The detailing on this is very nice, though. You got his rib cage and spine showing, as well as like part of his muscle that's torn off from the bone there. It's very cool looking. The figure itself is also very nice. This one is with his eyes kind of rolled up in his head. I believe, who is it? One of my friends told me that there was actually 2 different versions of this released. One where he's looking forward, and then one with the eyes rolled up in his head. Now, they don't really label those variants on the packages, so, you know, if you get lucky and you find one where he's looking straight forward, that's kind of a cool catch. But I think the majority of them actually just have him with his eyes rolled up in his head. So, but as far as accessories goes, just the base, he comes with this handgun, which part of this was actually broken when I received the portion right underneath the trigger, which I just ended up gluing that back together. The figure, it's supposed to actually have the gun kind of hang on his finger like that, but it doesn't fit, and it'll actually break the gun if you try to force it to do so. So I would not recommend that right out of the box. I know it's the way they have it on the display, but, you know, most of the time the display is not really even half of what the figure is. So, but for this one, the majority of it measures up. The gun does fit in his hand nicely. You can kind of cradle it like that, and it sits perfectly well. As far as articulation goes, I'll set that down. The figure has rotation in his ankles, which you have to have, just to reiterate. The foot does go like this. It does not go straight forward on the base. It goes back like this so that it can attach. Both ankles do have rotation. There is no knee or hip joints at all on this one. There is some very tight rotation at the waist, right above his belt line there. The arms flex in and out on ball joints, and then he also has rotation at the elbows. And I'll put him back on the base here so you can see the head portion. The head has a very tight ball joint up at the top of his neck, as opposed to the Plaid Zombie. The Plaid Zombie had a at the base of the neck, which was interesting, but they kind of changed that around as the series went on. So, but here, I'll give you kind of a look at the detail on this figure. It's very well done. I love the way they did the hair and the blood and everything. It just looks so well done. He's got kind of a gash in his shoulder there. And then he's also got this kind of gaping wound on his leg, which looks cool. And then, of course, he's got the mark on his neck there. Now, you can't put his head straight up because that's kind of the pose of the figure, is to be kind of cocked to the side like that. So, but altogether, this would definitely have to be my favorite out of the trio here. just because I love the base, I love the design of this figure, I love how the paint application looks on it. It's just really wonderful. But altogether, these guys are a phenomenal series. Really love the original NECA Cult Classic series, and these are definitely a testament to how good NECA's design and quality is for their figures. But yeah, if you have any individual questions on the figures that I could do a response video for, I'd be more than happy to. I know these figures are kind of difficult to find good reviews for sometimes, so if you have any questions, shoot me an email or a message on YouTube, and I'd be more than happy to fill you in. So that about wraps it up. Check out some of my other reviews, and as always, thank you for watching.